Rule number 8. The relative pronoun agrees with its antecedent in gender and number, but its case depends on how it's used in the relative clause. So first, a couple of definitions for this important and pretty common rule. The relative pronoun is qui, quae, quod, and seen here in its full declension. We translate qui, quae, quod into English as who if you're referring to a person or an animal, and which for inanimate objects. That works fine too. And here's the translation through the different cases. Notice that whom is used for the oblique cases, that is everything that isn't nominative. So the relative clause is the clause in which our relative pronoun finds itself. So in this sentence from Caesar, pontem qui erat ad Genavam jubet rescindi, he orders the bridge, which was near Geneva, to be cut down. This is the relative clause, starting with qui and ending at Genavam. Okay, one more definition. The antecedent of the relative pronoun is the word that it refers to. So, as I like to put it, who's the who, or what's the which? Going back to Caesar's sentence, the qui refers to the bridge, or in other words, the bridge is the which. There's probably a Monty Python joke in here somewhere. So the antecedent of qui is pontem, and another one from Caesar, ea dies quam constituerat venet. That day, which he had decided upon, came. The antecedent of quam is dies, since quam refers to the day. Caesar had decided upon the day, and it came. The rule then for determining which of these relative pronoun forms to choose comes down to both the antecedent and the relative clause. First, the antecedent determines the gender and number. Think about it. If the antecedent, like dies, is singular and feminine, then our qui, quae, quod will also be feminine singular. If the antecedent is bridge, which happens to be masculine singular, then our form of qui, quae, quod will also be masculine singular. The case of the pronoun, though, depends on how it's used in the relative clause. So if it's the subject in the relative clause, it will be in the nominative case. Going back to our first example, the qui is the subject of erat, so it must be nominative, even though pontem is in the accusative case. And if our qui, quae, quod happens to be the object in the relative clause, then we would put it in the accusative case, as in our second example. The quam is the object of constituerat, Caesar is the subject, so it's accusative, even though its antecedent, ea dies, is nominative, as the subject of venet. Now, if our relative pronoun has two antecedents, then it will take its number and gender just like an adjective.